YouTube, it's your girl Fauzia, and I'm back with another YouTube video. So I got a lot of requests from you guys asking me how was my in-flight experience with China Southern, was there any language barriers, what did I exactly do there, why did I pick China Southern. So today I'll be talking about my in-flight experience from Bangladesh to Canada using China Southern Airlines. Picked China Southern Airlines for two reasons. One, because it was cheap. It was the cheapest tickets we could find, 90k BDT per person. It was also the shortest time taken to travel from Bangladesh to Calgary, which was about 30 hours with all the transits and waiting. This we couldn't find anywhere else, and with the price which I mentioned, China Southern was the perfect pick for us. Now let's talk about baggage. While you book a China Southern flight, you get 23 kgs each for two baggages. That means you get a total of 46 kgs. We were overweight by 12 kgs in total. Luckily, we got excused, and I would definitely not recommend you to be 12 kgs overweight like us. But I think the reason we got excused was because we came to the airport like really early. The flight was at 12:50 a.m. but we came to the airport at 7 p.m. and we were the first ones to board when the boarding opened. So I guess that's why they excused us, and they also saw that we were a family and we were the first passengers to check in. But I wouldn't recommend this, and I would recommend you all to just be 1 kg overweight per baggage, and I think you should be okay. We booked Muslim meals in both of our flights from Dhaka to Guangzhou and Guangzhou to Vancouver. We did that beforehand, so there was no issue with halal, except that it was really bland. It did not taste so well. They gave us fish and boiled vegetables. The flight from Dhaka to China was 3 hours 35 minutes. The plane was fairly big. We were given Airbus A330, so the seat alignments were 2-4-2. We sat on the two seats to the window, which was really good, and it was a comfortable ride. Once we reached China, the immigration took us about 1 hour to clear. Everything was written in English, so there was no problem, even though most of them don't understand English. But they do have stickers, tags written over here that they can speak English, and the level of stars in how fluently they can speak English. In the Guangzhou airport, we went to eat in Beef Lonzu Noodle restaurant. It's a halal joint. We understood by seeing the Arabic writings outside the restaurant, and once we went inside, we asked them and they confirmed that it was halal. We didn't have to use Chinese yuan to pay for the food. We paid it through USD, so if you have USD, you're good to go again. Then we boarded our Vancouver flight. Now the flight from China to Vancouver was 12 hours long. It was really stressful. The plane was Boeing 787, but I felt that the plane from Dhaka to China was better compared to this. Even though this plane was bigger, but there was no leg space and all. It was a little congested, but we still managed to sleep for like 2-3 hours. The food was again bland. Even though we ordered Muslim meal, the food was very average. We only like the breakfast. The good part is they come for drinks often now and then, so you can have a wide range of juices and Coke or sodas to drink from, whatever you want. Once we landed in Vancouver, they gave us manual declaration forms. That day the e-declaration forms were not working, the system was down, so they gave us manual declaration forms, 1 form per family, and we had to fill that out to write the name of our family members, and if we are bringing any fish or any animal products, and if we are bringing more than 10,000 Canadian dollars, then we have to declare it. So once we filled out the form, we waited in the lines. Everybody from different parts of the world was traveling through Vancouver, so the immigration line was really long and it took us more than an hour and a half to clear it. They asked us simple questions, like they saw the passport, they saw the immigration visa, they asked us if we were new immigrants, and they asked us if we bought any cannabis products with us, if there are any other animal or plant products, and they saw that we declared the money which was more than 10,000 Canadian dollars, since you have to show your proof of funds, so we had to declare that anyway. Once they saw all this and they saw the declaration form, they told us, okay, you need to collect your baggages and then you'll be transferred in the new immigrants line. There's also one more thing there's to note, that if you are traveling to Canada, no matter where your end destination is, ours was Calgary, your immigration will happen in the first port of entry. So ours happened in Vancouver, as Vancouver was our first port of entry. Anyway, after collecting the baggage, you have to collect your baggages in the first port of entry and then give it again for your next flight. We collected the baggages and we were directed to the new immigrants line. We had to keep the baggages outside and we went inside the room. Once we went inside the room, we had to wait in another line where the officers were calling each immigrant family and asking them the basic questions. Have you ever been to Canada? Do you have any criminal records? They didn't ask you anything hard. Everything was normal and things you would expect, just normal easy questions. They didn't even ask to check the proof of funds. They just asked us if we bought the proof of funds and they asked us to declare it, which we did. So, and they just asked according to the COPR, the questions which were in COPR, like are you married or are you single, and what's your full name and what's your spouse's full name and his or her date of birth. That's it. Then they did some paperwork. They declared us permanent residents. We also got goods to follow and goods to accompany list. They didn't want to see those lists. They told us in order to do the goods to follow list, we need to follow their format. But the good part is that we still have 1 year from the date of landing, so we can fill it out in their format. After we were done with the new immigrants line and they declared us permanent residents, we had another flight to catch from Vancouver to Calgary. And we did take a 4-hour transit on purpose, but we were already 3.5 hours delayed due to this new immigration. So after we were done with the PR immigration, we had only about half an hour left. Originally, we had 4 hours of transit, but with all the immigration processes, it took 3.5 hours and we had only 30 minutes left. So we couldn't catch the flight to Calgary, but WestJet was nice enough to send us to the next flight, which was an hour later. And we gave our baggages and we were transferred to the domestic terminal and we got the plane to Calgary, and finally we are here. So that was my in-flight experience in details for you guys. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. And once again, thank you all for supporting me so much. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. I hope to see you all very soon. Until then, bye.